Well, look, you want to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the women's basketball tournament? Man, what a tournament and what drama and what
Yeah.
craziness. I mean, let's get into that a little bit. Let me just start. I did see the end of the game with Angel Reese, and my first reaction was, man, I didn't like it, but that's basketball. But man, what a whirlwind of
Yeah.
social media crap and debate, and it turned into a racial thing. I mean, it's
Right.
just
It's
wild.
horrible.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm just going to be honest. I enjoy women's college basketball, like to an extent. I'm not going to act like I'm saying to an extent. I'm not going to act like I would sit down and watch a ton of women's college
Right.
basketball because there's just so much other stuff to watch. But because of my job, I did watch quite a bit. I was on a few crews and covering the SEC. Watched a ton of women's college basketball this year, including LSU. So what it kind of showed me with the national title game, or even like go back to the Final Four. Not that many people watched LSU women's basketball this year, which I understand. Angel Reese, what I'm trying to say is Angel Reese played this way all season. That's
Mm-hmm.
how she's played her whole career, talking trash in people's face, running her mouth all the time. That's just her style. She doesn't back down from anyone. So I think a lot of people watched LSU for the first time this past weekend and we're like, oh wow, this girl talks a lot of trash, and it's like, yeah, that's who she is. Same with Caitlin Clark. I covered, or I did a few Iowa games this year. Caitlin Clark is the same way. She's the best player in college basketball. She's gonna move right on to the WNBA whenever she does and play really well there. Haley Van Lith, who plays for Louisville, same thing. I mean, she talks a ton of trash over there. So this isn't like a new thing in women's college basketball, and I think a lot of the analysts were saying that a lot of people, and like the championship game broke a ton of ratings records. So a lot
Yeah.
of people were finally watching that game and maybe had their eyes open that wow, these ladies, these women talk trash just like NBA players do. And it's like, yeah. I mean, if you hadn't watched any games, then maybe you would be surprised by that.
Well,
The social media reaction, it's just, you knew it was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen because of the racial aspect, like you said, because of it's women playing, and some people don't like that. To me, though neither of those things have ever been like an issue to me. So I just don't understand it. I had no issue with Caitlin Clark doing what she did. I had no issue with Angel Reese doing what she did. I don't care that women are out there. Some people say like they don't look classy out there. That just sounds ridiculous. The racial, none of that stuff has ever been an issue to me. So that's why I never took an issue with what was going on. The one thing I'll say is people were saying what Caitlin Clark did and what Angel Reese did were exactly the same.
no.
And it's just, it wasn't exactly the same. I mean, that's just me saying that it's not exactly the same isn't playing the race card or, doing anything like that. Caitlin Clark made a bucket and did the, you can't see me one time.
To her bench.
It was kind of to her bench, but Haley Van Lith was over there. So people were like, was she doing it at Van Lith? Who knows? But she did it one time, real quick, moved on. Angel Reese sought her out and was following her around at the end of the game, did it multiple times, even after the game was continuing to do it, which, she's living in the moment. She just won a national title, whatever. So that I'm just saying that to say it was not the same what each player did. That's the one thing I would say. Otherwise, I really couldn't care less. It was a good game.
Yeah, I agree. It is funny that people would say they're the same thing. Ted, I kind of had the same thought as you. At first, when I very first saw, I was like, well, she crossed the line.
Yeah.
But the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I'm like, this happens like every night in the NBA, it seems like. Maybe it's because it's the national championship, like basically the confetti's falling when she was doing this. Maybe it was
Right.
the sodding her out, that type of thing. But I don't know. I mean, you see Patrick Beverly does this every night to somebody new, it seems like, where he covers his nose and says you stink. Russell Westbrook walks around calling people trash. But we think that's funny. We think that's cool. So I just kind of decided, I don't have a strong opinion either way on it. People clearly do, and so I'll let them kind of battle it out on Twitter. Yeah. One thing I will say, I mean, 9.9 million viewers at 3:30 p.m. on Sunday.
Absolutely.
Same amount of viewers as the 2021 finals, which was a good finals, if you remember. Suns versus Bucks. I mean, what a wake-up call for the NBA, but what an awesome weekend it really was for women's sports. And here's the thing about Angel Reese. people might be pissed at her, but I mean, what she did is probably did more for women's basketball than a lot. And obviously, Clayton Clark did a big part of that with her entire run, Larry Bird-esque or Pete Maravich-esque, as you would say, Ted.
Yeah.
But I mean, I tell you what, I'll be curious to see what happens next season. I would hope that these two will play each other in the regular season and maybe at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be fun to see.
Yeah, I saw somebody posted, why not have an opening night doubleheader with the women and men, man? It'd be awesome to see a rematch LSU and Iowa just to get it off and rolling. I mean,
Yeah.
And Caitlin Clark, I just want to throw this out here. I mean, she's the best women player I think I've ever seen. I mean, she just does it all. She's phenomenal with her court awareness. She can drill the three. I mean, she's fun to watch, and they're both fun to watch. I guess back to the Angel Reese thing, it just blows my mind. I got to say it one more time. Whether you agree with what she did or didn't do, how does it is it just our society that things automatically go racial? I mean, come on. It's there were two different things.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know if it's weird because you don't know if that's like something that's been ingrained in your brain over the course is like some sort of, I guess, like racism. I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes you feel that way. I didn't feel like I felt like I viewed it and had nothing to do with race. It was just
absolutely.
I felt like what she did was a little bit overboard. But at the end of the day, it's like Clayton Clark probably talks a lot of trash during the game. And so I don't blame her. One thing I will like if it comes out or if it probably was true that they were talking trash back and forth throughout the game, I have no problem with it. It's whatever. I wouldn't do it personally, but I don't think it's worth her getting trashed online over it and all that sort of thing. Right. The one thing that kind of was comical to me about the whole thing is why they said that they felt the need to do that, or why Angel Reese said that is because of the whole they let the girl from South Carolina shoot. I mean, how was that? I don't understand why that is a big deal. I really didn't get it. I mean, that's Draymond Green every night in the NBA,
right?
And we don't view it as disrespectful. It's like gamesmanship. If you watch that video clip, the girl doesn't even look at the rim.
Right,
like it's like why would you guard her? She's not even attempting to go toward the rim. She's not even attempting to shoot. So I thought that was kind of funny. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, both Caitlin Clark should be happy that this happened, and Angel Reese is obviously going to become a lot bigger of a star from what happened. So I think they're both like winners at the end of the day from this quote unquote altercation. So good for them.
Yeah, it's a shame that immediately it goes to race or the gender thing because it's women's sports, and it's a shame too that it's gotten to the point where, like, if you say that even if you're not playing the race card, you're saying that maybe Angel Reese went a little too far in how she was like following Clark around. If that's just your thought, people say like, "Oh, you're racist." You're saying that, and it's like, no, like I'm just saying specifically what she was doing. I just think she maybe took it a little far. It has nothing to do with race. Like you can't even like voice an opinion without people saying that like you're racist or sexist or whatever. It's like, so it's almost like, why even have like a conversation?
Yeah. So
because you're not even going to let me like voice my opinion on it.
That's it.
That's why you just stay away from it. Really. Yep. I mean,
and that's why sometimes you do, because like I didn't really get on Twitter much, while I was on vacation. I hop on yesterday, of course, and that's what everyone is talking about. And, I was just like, there was a couple things I was like, I might reply to this. And it was just like, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a shame. Because it takes away from a great game. It was a great game,
It does, but it's also, I mean, it's like, it's great for the sport, as stupid and silly as it is. I mean, it got the people talking about it more than it's ever been talked about. And I feel like if it was just another game and Iowa loses, it kind of fades off after a couple of days, but we're still talking about it, 2-3 days later. So,
like they say, any publicity is good publicity. It doesn't need, it can be bad, but man, it's putting eyes on the women's game. And, it's a side story. Yeah. It's a side story, but man, the quality of play is just so good, and you guys know me, you're more NBA fan than I am, but I'm not that huge of an NBA fan. I'll get tuned into it when we get going in the playoffs, but the college game, the college men's game, and now the college girls game, I'll watch the women a lot more now just because of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and some of these other, stars that and they play good basketball. I mean, I cannot believe the level of play that they have evolved to. It's just incredible.
Well, another thing that's in women's basketball is the fact that they all stay for 4 years, basically.
Right.
So it's like you actually get to figure out who these characters are. I mean, Caitlin Clark, if this was men's basketball, she's gone after
Right.
this year. So, but now she's come back another year. So you get to keep building up these characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Women, I mean, I would say it's pretty top heavy. I mean,
Right.
the very, very good teams, the basketball is fantastic. It's really good. Same with men's basketball. The lower teams, it's sometimes kind of brutal to watch. So some of these, men's games, like the bottom of the Big Ten, you're just like, man, this is almost, even Michigan this year at times was like, this is kind of rough to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, I mean, if they schedule LSU and Iowa next year in the beginning of the season, people are going to watch.
Put them on an aircraft carrier, man. That's what I say.
No,
Hey,
so kind of like your point, I was going to ask you guys. So the 3:30 on a Sunday,
yeah.
why not figure out a way? I don't know if with the Final Four, if you'd have to put them all on Friday or if some would still be on Thursday, Friday, because you wouldn't want to go Saturday then Sunday for Final Four then championship. But why not have the men's and women's championship both on Sunday? Have one at 3:30 and then the other one at 7 or 8, something like that.
100%. That'd be unbelievable.
The men's game tipping off at 9 or 9:30 or whenever it was on a Monday night is just one shining moment. Doesn't run until like midnight on Monday. It's just like this. It makes no sense.
I think about this. I worked an entire baseball game, pitch clock era. Houston Astros versus Detroit Tigers last night. I got back before the game ended.
Right.
And it started at 8 o'clock. Started an hour and a half before that. I mean, which I guess that's beside the point, but
still, baseball's usually longer. So
yeah,
right. Well, it's a lot of fun for sure. And I got one question for you guys. Do you think it's time? I'd like to get your opinion. Should college basketball go to the 4 quarters? The men's side?
I don't think it really matters. No,
you don't.
I don't
the
care.
Flow of the
really
game
one way or the other. Why? It's less breaks. The game goes by a little bit quicker.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know.
One thing I'll say, I wish they shorten the shot clock in men's basketball.
Mm-hmm.
That I think that would speed the game up a little bit. But the 4 quarters thing, I don't know. Like it just feels faster with 4 quarters.
It does.
It's funny. It's just like splitting hairs. There's literally no difference. Same amount of time. It's just what I guess if you want to divide it into fourths or just leave it as halves. So I guess I wouldn't be mad if they changed it, but it kind of is what it is. I don't care.
One final question on the ladies' side. Did you guys have thoughts on the referees? Because that was another hot topic.
The referees suck all around. I mean, men's game, women's game. I just it's just so wild to me that they can't pay full-time refs. Like pay these people like it's a full-time job, so you get the best of the best. It just and also like there's always going to be mistakes. I don't know. The refs are always bad.
So you didn't think it was extra sucky?
I don't know.
I mean, it was in that game, but I don't know, what do you do? I don't know what caused that. Why that was. I mean, Mulkey was definitely working the refs, and it definitely worked. But it wasn't like it was just only bad calls against Iowa. I mean. Just not a good officiated game. It's sad. I guess it's okay because it wasn't a close game, so it's kind of getting put on the back burner and then the whole Angel Reese and kind of Caitlin Clark thing started. But it wasn't not well officiated. That's for sure.
Right, and you might be surprised on this when Clark threw the ball behind her back. Any other game that's a technical, isn't it? I mean, I didn't have a real fault with that.
Yeah, I guess that could be questionable because they said like it was a technical because it was a delay of game. Mm-hmm. And they had already been issued the warning delay a game.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even that they thought that it was rude or whatever. It was because of the delay game. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.